Let me call you sweetheart. I'm in love with you.
Welcome to the B-List.
I'm Tara.
I'm Courtney.
And this is where we talk about everything we love to hate.
And everything that we hate to love. And you know what one of those things that I love to hate?
Crazy horror movies with terrible
B-horror movies.
Yes.
Yep. And we decided that we're going to talk about some of them.
Yeah, you know, everyone always laughs at me when I say that because they're like, oh, you like horror movies. They think I'm talking about like crazy, like things that will keep you up at night, things that will make your brain like you can't sleep, you can't relax. I'm like, no, I do like those.
I like those, but
I do, but
my favorites tend to be the low budge,
like
low
production value is bad.
The
scripts have been written overnight by a high school kid
and passed around to 10 different writers by the time it's all said and done. And
like where it looks like your brother made it in like a weekend.
Right. Like something I put together myself over breakfast one day.
Oh, right. Yeah.
But so we'll talk about 3 of them today.
Yes.
And these are good ones. Now, we tried to pick things that didn't have too much of a cult following. Some of them do, though, because there's lots of you guys that like the bad movies like we do. And so it was really hard for me, I know, to find.
Yeah, I mean, and there's 2 on this list. 2 out of the 3 that we're talking about today have a cult, like all of them have a cult following that I didn't even know about, but 2 of 3 of them today, I had never even heard of.
Yeah.
Until like whether like my boyfriend's really into this stuff too, and I know you're into it. Like our friendship is based on watching.
I know, putting in Teen Witch or
pre-COVID time. Courtney and I would get together and talk about these things, and like we'd have some drinks and
watch a really bad movie.
And watch really bad movies. And that's
one of our bonding moves there.
So,
so which one do we want to talk about first?
Today, the first one that we're talking about today is Basket Case.
Basket Case.
1982. This one,
I think I even have the poster for that. There we go.
And when I used to go around Blockbuster and Movies Unlimited was what it was called, like our little rental place, I remember seeing this case, but I never rented it.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. Ours was over on my side of town, was Blazing Video. We didn't go to Blockbuster until they squelched out all the ma and pa places. So we went to Blazing Video, and they would always have these standees and everything of these horror movies that I ended up loving later in life. And I remember seeing the case to Basket.
I never rented it though. I don't know why I didn't, because as a kid I watched all this stuff, but I never rented it. And one thing I seriously love about, I don't know if you noticed this, but like opening credits, like the beginning before the credits even start, it says it was preserved by MoMA, like with the Modern Art Museum of America.
Yeah,
it was preserved by that.
Like, I didn't notice that.
Or on my version anyway that I watched. Like, I'm like, seriously?
Yeah. And I believe all of these movies that we're talking about today, I think that they're all free to watch on Tubi. So if any of you guys want to check them out after we talk
Tubi
about them,
or Shudder,
I'm just going to say right now that you might want to go watch these movies first before this, because we're going to spoil some stuff.
Spoilers.
We're just going to talk about
seen these. You're going to want to watch them.
Yeah. And so number 1, we're talking about
my first note says that this literally looks like someone made this with a camera at home.
Yeah.
The opening scene, you see Dr. Julius Lifflander. He's like leaving the house, I guess is what it is, or his office or something, and he hears something in the bushes. You don't see the creature at the beginning.
No, the big reveal comes much later.
But you see this
oh my gosh.
He's leaving and he's who's there? Like he's yelling and you see like bushes move. That's why I think it's like some dude with a camera at home that like is doing this, because you just see like bushes move. It's cheaper to do it that way.
Yeah.
And he goes in the house, he's calling the police department, and the call drops as it does in these horror movies. And I said apparently the monster is good with a fuse box and cut the lights.
Yeah, that's that's always what they do, is they cut the electricity. And
which I get it when it's a murderer in a person, but when it's like a creature.
Well, we don't know it's a creature yet at this point.
That's true. We don't.
We just know that the bushes were rustling around, and
he runs back inside and calls the police, who apparently are worthless because they don't help him. And he yells, "I've got a gun, and I'm gonna shoot," and he does randomly. And then you see this weird deformed hand come up and grab his face.
Oh my gosh. And the special effects
tears him apart so much that he's dead, but you just see like random blood scratches.
Yeah.
And then literally, I think you see on this kill, you see like just random blood splatter on the wall.
It always looks like they've got the ketchup bottle too.
Like
it just kind of yeah.
So first kill within the first like 5 minutes of the movie.
That's what makes a great horror movie.
That's what, yeah. And then you cut to a scene of a guy walking down the street. His name's Dwayne Bradley. Walking down the street with a big basket under his arm.
And he's like, isn't he somewhere like in like New York?
It's got to be New York because they go to the Statue of Liberty later.
So that's right. It's
New York.
Yeah. But it's like, this is like pre-Giuliani, whenever it was like
before he cleaned the streets
Before
up.
he cleaned the streets
A
up.
drug dealer actually approaches him as like, what you want? You want weed? You want this? You want that? You want this? You want ladies? I got ladies. You want this? You want that? And he's just like,
you can tell that there's an innocence about him.
I've been to New York a couple of times. Not one person approached me just to be selling drugs.
I've never been to New York.
Never once.
I've never made it that far. We drove past and
no one approached me with drugs.
But yeah, we didn't stop in the city.
Maybe I didn't look like I needed it. And this guy, Dwayne Bradley, I have to mention that he looks like he's definitely going on a hike. He's got this giant backpack on.
Uh-huh.
What's he doing? You're going to New York and you got your giant wicker basket like freaking Yogi Bear's behind you.
Right. I'm gonna come up and get your picnic basket.
And if you have something in the wicker basket that you don't want anyone in, why is it a wicker basket and not like a solid metal?
Right.
It's wicker.
Right. Or even like a steam trunk or something that's like sturdy.
It looks like something out of Blanche Devereaux's bedroom.
But breathing holes.
Breathing holes, yes.
Wicker is perfect for breathing.
Obviously.
That's like home ec 101.
Duh, Tara. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So then he goes to this hotel Roslyn. And he gets a room for $20, which is not a bad deal.
For a few nights, too.
Because
I remember the dude's all like, how long you stay in? A few hours, few nights. And he's like 3 nights.
And
like
Dwayne,
$20.
I don't know what Dwayne does for a living, but he pulls out this fat
Did they ever cover
fat
that?
wad of cash.
He pulls out this fat wad of cash that's
like a thick wad.
Yeah. Like, does it... Now that I think about it, does it ever touch on how he gets the money to do that?
Never
discusses why he's got like hundreds and 50s and 20s.
Later you find out that he was like orphaned and like no one wanted him and like how did he get this money? Like what? Why?
Well, didn't his dad live?
His dad?
His mom died in childbirth.
That's okay.
And
like did he come
so
from
dad
rich
hated
family?
him.
Did he?
Well, we'll get to that. With his aunt taking care of him and
true.
stuff.
Yeah.
But
okay.
Maybe his aunt was loaded.
I don't know. But for whatever reason, he has a fat wad of cash that all the guys in the hotel are seeing. Because he's not trying to be discreet. He's like,
right, he pulls it out in front of everybody.
My fat wad, here's $20 for the room.
Pulls out a 20 and it all rolls around while he's like toilet paper.
Never seen so much money in my life. Okay, yeah. So then he comes back downstairs and he's like, is there any place I can get some food around here? Like, you're in New York City, my friend.
You're in New York. Just go outside. There's probably people, like, pushing carts of
That's what you probably... you pass, like, 20 stands on your way here, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he goes to get some burgers, comes back, and opens the basket. You don't see what's in there.
But you hear it.
This thing is gobbling down burgers. And I did notice... I didn't put it in my notes, but I did notice that the first burger he unwraps the burger, he pulls out the meat, he gives it to the whatever it is that's inside the box.
Yeah.
The second one, he just throws the whole burger
thing in.
Next thing, it's with the wrapper and everything. He got real lazy about feeding
feeding the basket.
Feeding the basket case.
The basket case, yes. Now I get it. Oh.
There you go.
Basket case.
So then he looks up he's looking in the phone book for Dr. Harold Needleman.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, remember phone books?
No, that was before my time,
Tell us
Tara.
about phone books. There used to be.
Remember when they were attached to pay phones, and if you
Yeah.
needed a number but didn't need to make a call, you could just run to one of those. Yeah, we've done that a couple times
Back in the day, children, there was a giant book full of everyone's full name and address and phone number.
It used to cost 10 cents to make a call. And then they increased it to $0.25 eventually. But
I said, what a bad idea it is to show everyone's name and address for any old basket-wielding maniac to just have.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So Dwayne Bradley goes to this office and he's flirting with the receptionist.
Cute little receptionist, yeah.
Who hairstylist for 20 years could not tell if that was a wig or if she just had a really thick head of hair.
I was looking at that too.
Part line looked a little like it was a wig.
Yeah, it did a little bit, but I don't know.
Her name was Sharon.
Sharon.
That's the note that I took about the office visit. I don't really remember much after that. Like, I know.
Well, she was I remember she was the aggressor. Like, he walks in with this basket.
Oh, she was. I don't want to say she was asking for it, but.
Well, she actually did ask for it. She was
flirty.
like, hey, let's go on a date. Remember? He was like, hey, I need to see the doctor. He's an old friend of mine. And she's like,
gave
well,
a fake name just for shits and gigs, just to surprise him.
Just to surprise him. Here's a name. And then goes in to see him.
Yeah.
And the whole time he's waiting in to see him, she's like, hey, I get off at 7.
I get off at 7. We should go out.
We should go out. And he's being elusive. He's like, I don't think we should.
Yeah, because he's got this basket to take care of,
Uh-huh.
which we don't know what's in it still.
It's, for all I know, the
something that
basket's
eats
alive.
burgers.
Yeah, the basket loves burgers.
Burger loving basket.
Burger loving basket. That's my porn name.
It's the porn name. Anyways, okay, yeah. So the visit happens, and does he see the doctor at that point? I don't remember. Did he?
Yeah, he comes in and sees the doctor, and the doctor's like, "Hey, take off your shirt."
Yeah.
Or whatever. He takes off his shirt, and that's when it's revealed that he's got scarring.
He's got this scar
all the way down his side.
What could it be?
What could it be? And so then he leaves.
Yeah.
It just like,
okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
Because in the next scene, you see he breaks into the office or goes back into the office, and then he allows his dun dun dun
basket case
to kill him.
Yeah. And the reveal of this creature.
The only way to describe this creature to me, I said it several times, and every time I watch it, I think of this. This creature looks like human face, but looks like a bucket of wings, like naked wings.
Okay, you remember
it's
Ninja
all
Turtles?
Elbows and skin.
Okay, I'm gonna get berated for this because I'm not pulling up his name, but you know, I was a little old for the Ninja Turtles when they were their thing. But you remember the brain?
Yeah.
From Ninja Turtles, that's what it kind of looked like.
Kinda.
Except it had like a human face, kind of, and then like just like a brainy, blobby body.
But it's not brainy. It's very like, it's like elbows.
It was like it wasn't born without bones.
It looks like chicken wings.
Yeah.
Like if you fused 90 chicken wings
with
together.
These hands that come in front.
With talons, apparently, because everyone's just scraped to Jesus. Like their faces are just scraped off.
Yeah, yeah.
That's how he kills everyone.
Yeah.
He's just, like, get creative.
Yeah. I don't understand how it would have.
How do you not just punt it across the room?
That's what I was wondering. I mean, this thing is not
it.
barely.
It's a him.
It's a him.
Person.
It's a person.
People have disabilities. It's a thing. But
I don't see how. Like, how did it poop? And where did the food go that it ate?
It wasn't just any clothes. It left nothing to the imagination.
Right. But I didn't see any genitals or anything.
No, it's kind of like when women have like, oh, I've got this. I read it today. Like this woman's like, oh, I have this like cyst inside me that's like a ball of hair and tissues.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Yeah,
but real angry about it.
Real angry about it.
Real mad.
Well, we know that he doesn't like doctors.
I said my notes say it's a parasitic twin situation. We have a Siamese. It's and his name is what? Belial. Belial.
I think it was something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I said he looks like a bucket of naked chicken wings.
Yeah.
Which is a bunch of skin. So cut to the next day. We have Dwayne meeting Sharon at the Statue of Liberty for their date.
Mm-hmm.
And
he has to keep it a secret because
keep it a secret.
Was it revealed at this point that it was actually his brother in the basket?
I don't know. At some point, there's a flashback of him like.
I know that whenever he's talking in the bar later.
Yeah, he's talking to Casey at the bar.
Yeah, and we'll get to her in a minute.
She's the hooker with a heart of gold.
But you gotta have one in a good horror movie.
Yeah.
But
so they're like, and they have a very awkward exchange at the Statue of Liberty where he's like, confession, I didn't even want to see the city. I just wanted to spend time with you. And she's like, that's what I wanted.
That's what I want. Yeah, it's one of the most awkward dates, but and this is also where you figure out too that are they connected?
They are connected because they kiss. They share a kiss.
At
And
the Statue
this,
of Liberty.
Belial has a not great reaction to this.
That's right.
He tears the apartment apart, and everyone in the building can hear it, and they're like, "What is happening in there?"
And it's the funniest little toddler
tantrum.
Like
Throwing
whenever
papers. Why is there so many papers?
When he grabs the edge of the bed, he's all.
I mean, yeah, and there's papers everywhere.
And papers. Reason. Well, he has the files.
That's what it is.
Remember, he has the files with the doctors' names on.
Because what we find out is that they are on a mission to kill all the doctors that separated them, because they're very upset that they were separated.
Well, they were separated against their will.
Against their will.
It was what their father wanted.
Yes.
And he wanted, and it wasn't expected for the little guy to survive. And so Dad was like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Because the
just
other one's
kill it off.
Just kill it off. It's fine.
Yeah. So they're, I guess, like, have that twin speak where they're connected that way, where like one twin gets hurt and the other one can feel it type of thing. Because he gets a kiss, the old smooch from Sharon, and his twin's freaking out in the room or whatever, and he immediately feels it, and so he leaves Sharon. Okay, bye, Sharon. Okay, bye. I've been to the Statue of Liberty. You gotta take a ferry there.
That's what I was saying. He just takes off like, you're just gonna go wait at the ferry dock for 45 minutes till it comes back.
She walks and like, so I guess we're taking the ferry back?
He just jumps in the water and starts
swimming. So yeah, he goes back, but while this is going on, he's making his way back on the ferry. He tears the room apart or whatever, and then the neighbor sneaks in because he was like, oh, that cash. He's out of the room. I'm gonna go steal that cash. And that's how the neighbor gets murdered, because Belial saw him trying to steal the cash and murders him. And so by the time Dwayne gets back to the hotel, like, there's police tape and the guy's been murdered. Yeah. And he's like, oh no. Oh yeah, and then he runs into Casey, his neighbor, and they go to the bar, and he starts spilling the tea on what's happened to him with his brother.
Gets a little too drunk.
Could you imagine being at the bar and you think you're just having like a drink with your neighbor?
Yeah.
So I have a conjoined twin in my basket. Are you okay?
And she's like, okay. Yeah, all right. Cool. And then he starts telling the whole story
of how his father wanted them separated, and mother died in childbirth, and his dad hated it, and then he's got to go live with his aunt, and
and they were separated unwillingly. Oh, and I liked how whenever they cut the other twin off, they just put it in a bag and threw it by the trash. So later,
not a biohazard to be seen.
Not anything, nothing. No, they do the surgery, they put them in a bag, and just throw away the trash. Like, and then later, Dwayne's like, what? I hear you. Where are you at? And so he goes out to the trash. Because they got the twin thing.
Senses.
And he's like, where are you at? And then all of a sudden you see this trash bag all, and then his hand comes through.
Yep.
And then they're together forever at that point. And that's when
they're committed.
That's when the aunt takes them over. Well, no, don't forget, they killed Dad. They go down They go down to the basement and then build this contraption out of, like, I don't know, all this machinery equipment and chop them in half.
Yep.
And then they're like,
are you even really siblings if you don't chop your dad in half?
Right. And then the aunt comes over and they were like, they think it was an accident. They don't know how it happened. And so or they think it's a suicide or something like that. Yeah. So aunt takes over, and she loves both of them very much.
Yes. She's a good aunt.
She was a good aunt. She takes care of them till her dying
day. And then
she
passed away, right? And that's why why they came to
Maybe that's where they got the money from.
Maybe. Makes sense.
Aunt.
I don't know.
It was a nice funeral.
I said, basically, they're out for vengeance, and at some point, the other doctor gets murdered. They go to the other doctor's house, and she's denying it. I don't know what happened. Yeah. Like, you're not that person. I don't know what you're talking about. And then, doctor kicks rocks.
Yeah.
And fast forward to Dwayne and Sharon are hooking up. Belial is not happy about this.
Not happy about it. He's very jealous.
Very jealous. But I imagine it's really hard to date when you're a parasitic twin that's been cut off from your food source.
Yeah.
It's gotta be hard. So in order to save Sharon from his twin, he's gotta, like, you gotta go. Could you imagine, like, you're like having a perfectly happy, mediocre sexual experience with your new boyfriend, and then he's like, you gotta get out of here.
You gotta get out of here.
To save her. Yeah. And so I said in my notes, turns out this poor malformed murderous twin is kind of an incel douchebag because he tries to sleep rape his brother's girlfriend. Because he breaks into her apartment and tries to rape her.
He kills her, doesn't he?
Trigger warning for rape, yes. Yeah. And then he kills her in the process.
Yeah.
And Dwayne and Belial duke it out because I think Dwayne's had enough. He's like, I just kind of want to have a normal life, and you just killed my girlfriend.
Yeah.
I was all about killing these doctors, but then you went and killed my girlfriend.
Yeah.
We had plenty of other awkward exchanges at the Statue of Liberty, and you
right. Me. This makes it really awkward.
Yeah. So they duke it out, and they end up falling out of a window.
Yeah. Like, this is a fair fight, too. This thing is only, like I said, maybe it's a basketball, bigger than a basketball, but...
It's the size of a basket.
But, yeah. Slightly smaller than a basket.
It's the size of a small igloo cooler.
There we go. There we go.
It's a cooler-sized...
But, I mean, they really fight. This is a fair fight.
They were...
Neither one... You know, it's that twin power, though. They couldn't land blows.
Yeah, they knew each other's...
They knew each other like in Arrested Development.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so the movie... I said, this movie almost gives me Malignant vibes if Malignant was set in the 80s and had horrible special effects. Oh, wait. It did. Because... I mean, there's just no... It's so hard
They use a lot of, like, the stop action...
Like claymation
stuff, yeah.
Because that's what you had back then, children. There was no CGI back in those days.
Not very well. No.
Yeah, no.
No, not at this point, because this was like 83 or 84.
It was 82.
82.
And fun fact, there are 2 sequels to this movie.
I know. I looked for them. I couldn't find them.
You couldn't find
them, and I'm not paying to rent that.
I might have to do that.
Well, maybe,
we'll have to get together.
Maybe one of these nights when we have pizza night or something.
We'll have pizza night and we'll have to do it.
We'll do Basket Case 2
why
and 3.
Is there...
Yeah, they here's the thing about that one too, though, is that they fall out the window and then they dangle over the street for like 10 minutes. And everybody's like, what is that? What is that? And then finally they succumb to gravity and hit the ground.
Or do they? I don't know, because of the
I don't know
the sequels.
Well, they're laying in the ground, everybody's like, they're dead. And then that's the end of the movie. Credits.
Yep.
And then I found out after this that there are the 2 sequels. And I went and looked up because I was so curious.
Did you read the...
And I read the synopsis, and it's Dwayne and Belial.
Dwayne and Belial, man.
So...
They hate each other now, though, right? Like, they're sticking together?
They're still sticking together, so I guess, I mean...
It's like when you have that one friend you don't super like, but you just keep inviting him to shit anyways.
Yeah.
Like,
you don't want to hurt their feelings.
Like, what is he going to do? Like, get a job and move across town?
Right.
Right. Gets a job in IT? No, because it's the 80s. They didn't have that back then.
They didn't have IT yet.
All right, next one we have is Brain Damage.
Brain Damage.
And this was one that I originally picked out because I saw it probably about 6 months ago. I picked this one before I picked any of the others. I didn't know that it was tethered to Basket Case.
It's in the same universe. Same director.
Same director, turns out. And this is 88, so this is like a few years later. And my first note is, how did I pick another weird movie about hiding a weird creature in your apartment? Directed by the same guy.
He's
Frank Henenlotter, I guess is his name.
Henenlotter. That's right. I saw it whenever I started the movie, because I saw Brain Damage after I saw Basket Case.
This movie has almost a perfect shitty horror movie opening scene with like the bathtub and like the old couple looking for
tearing up their apartment.
Look, this woman is very upset.
Yeah.
Screaming in ways that if I lived in an apartment, I would call the cops.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's what is nobody
like,
calling the cops. And they're just pulling things out of the cabinets, out of the closets.
How this woman did
flipping furniture. I know. Well, I saw the movie. I don't know if that was really for their consideration now.
They probably didn't look at this one.
They did not consider it.
They were not considered.
But
so yeah, fast forward to this guy named Brian has this weird sickness and I don't know, feeling weird, and wakes up to this turns out there's this weird phallic parasite named Almer. It's blue.
He's blue.
It's this little guy you see right there.
This guy right there. Oh, no.
How do weather
people do this?
The only way to describe it is he looks like a blue Mr. Hanky.
That's exactly what I said.
Mr. Hanky.
I was like, he's a blue Mr. Hanky.
You're gonna have to do a clip of Mr. Hanky if you can find it, and we can get.
Of course I can find that clip.
That's what he looks like. And he's a parasitic thing that attaches.
He's like a slug.
He's like a weird poopy slug that hooks onto the back of someone's neck
and injects like a little little fiber optic.
A little fiber optic. And it gets you high.
Yeah, it goes into your brain because they show it several times going into a brain and leaking a blue liquid.
And we have to talk about Almer's voice.
He was my favorite character on Sesame Street.
I mean, it's real creepy. His voice reminds me of on Family Guy. You know, like the old guy, like the real creeper, the diddler?
Yeah, the diddler. Diddler. That's really... That describes it really well because I think that they were trying to go for, it's a soothing creature because listen to how...
Right.
Friendly he sounds because he's
but
all
it's real creepy, you guys. It's real, not great.
Yeah, not great at all.
This is the start of your new life, Brian. A life without worry or pain or loneliness. A life filled instead with colors and music and euphoria.
Well, why don't you pick me up and
put me on the back of your neck?
Put me on the back of your neck.
And I said, like most cult leaders, this parasite is offering Brian a life free of worry if he just takes him for a walk.
Yeah.
That's what he's thinking, is like, Brian's like, no way, I'm not going to do this. But he's getting him high, and he's like, okay, we'll go for a walk.
Because apparently, colors and music all show up.
Everything's like a kaleidoscope of
just
wonderfulness.
Amazing.
Yeah. And at first, Brian doesn't know what's happening when he goes on these walks. Like, he doesn't know what's happening. He's like, he detaches from consciousness.
Well, yeah.
When it's happening.
Yeah.
But basically, Almer is using these hosts to murder people.
Right. But he doesn't really need them. They don't do the murdering. He just jumps out at them and murders them.
I guess he just needs them to like hitch a ride.
He needs legs.
He wants to hitch a ride to town.
Yeah.
There was no Uber back then.
Yeah. There was no
Cabs
Uber.
Are expensive.
And this happens in New York as well because I know that they're on the subways and everything.
Everything's in New York, and at one point you see Dwayne with his basket.
Yeah. Yeah, he's on the subway.
Dwayne from Basket Case makes an appearance. At some point.
He does.
Yeah.
And hightails it out of the subway car that they're in because he thinks he's insane.
My favorite scene, and I'm probably going out of order, but one of my favorite scenes is where he's like dancing in the club or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And he takes that girl outside.
Yeah.
Trigger warning for BJ's.
Right.
He thinks that this girl thinks that she's gonna.
Well, she's like, "What's in your pants?" Because apparently, whenever he's not attached to him,
whenever he's not attached, he shimmies down his pants.
So she feels Almer in there.
She's like, "Ooh, what's this?" And so she gets on her knees to fillet him, and Almer just goes like
chokes her.
Just chokes her.
I unfortunately probably can't show a clip of that on YouTube because.
Probably not, but we can talk about it.
But we can talk about it.
We can talk about it.
Almer chokes this broad to death.
This broad, just unhinges those jaws and...
Yeah, just right in there.
Through her head.
And he eats brains, doesn't he? Like a good little zombie parasite.
Like a good little parasite, yeah. He's kind of a zombie.
Yeah.
Parasitic, blue poop, phallic zombie.
It's like Mr. Hanky soaked in the blue toilet water.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
But also has tiny little eyeballs.
Yeah.
Almost human looking
They
eyeballs.
have to, that was another thing, and it was
it's so off-putting.
It's got
so
the
weird
eyes.
off-putting.
It's so off-putting.
And then the old man's creepy voice is too much.
Yeah.
Too much. Yeah. So Brian realizes what's happening to him, realizes that he's being used to murder people, and he tries to detox in a room.
Yeah.
It's the grossest, weird hotel room type thing. He tries to like detox, and Almer's like taunting him and like being a douche and like tries to detox.
Like, why wouldn't you try to get rid of home slug before you detox? Because if you have your supply there,
it's not like people who are trying to get off heroin just have their stash right there talking shit to them the whole time.
It's not like you detox with your dealer.
Flush it and move on with your life.
We've already established that he can move through the tub system,
the tubs and the waters.
the sewage system.
Yeah, so I say this tiny Christmas poo is heckling him and telling him he can't do it. So I said, like a big pussy, Brian gives in and is like, okay, fine. I guess we're gonna murder people. Fine. You win, Christmas poo.
Fine.
Let's do this. Fine, Almer, which is a weird, I don't know where they got that name.
No, they explain it.
Oh, yeah. The old man, right?
like-
the old couple.
It was like his
Middle
name
ages.
his name is Elmer. He's like, Elmer? And he's like, no, Almer.
Almer.
It's an old medieval word for
Christmas poo.
Christmas poo.
Why don't you attach me back your neck? I said, yeah. Meanwhile, they come across Morris and his wife, and they're in this like alley trying to get Almer back because they want to get high all the time, and they are attached to this Christmas poo.
Yeah.
They want to serve.
They
this
have
Christmas
been looking
poo.
everywhere. For
They've been
him.
looking everywhere. And that's when they're explaining this whole like he's from the Middle Ages, you idiot. Like, why aren't you should be so lucky as to have him in your
Yeah,
life.
he's an artifact. And
Yeah. I
precious.
said, and in the struggle, Morris accidentally kills Almer and gives Brian a huge dose of the juice.
Yeah, he squeezed him while he's attached to him.
Yeah,
didn't he?
which apparently squeezes
and it squeezed all of it.
squeezes the Christmas right into his body.
Yeah,
The Christmas spirit.
got a bunch of toilet water into his
Bunch of
brain.
toilet water into his brain. And he goes nuts, basically. Oh, we completely missed the part where, like, Brian's freaking brother is hooking up with his girlfriend.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Completely missed
My
that.
favorite part.
Oh, yeah. And when she dies.
Yeah. Okay, we got to touch on this.
Okay, we gotta go back.
Got to go back. on
Completely
this.
forgot this part.
That's
yeah.
all right. That way we won't spoil it for them too much.
He
This
knows
is out of
something's
order.
going on. Something's like he's got to figure out what am I gonna do. Everyone stay away from me. You know, like
Well, first of all, when the night that he gets sick, he's supposed to go to a concert with his girlie, and he's so sick, and she's like, no, and he's like, just go with my brother, and
go
so
with my brother. So
they go-
basically, that's on him.
that's
'Cause
on
he's
that's
like-
on him, because it was at that point he locks himself in his room all the time because now he's getting the blue juice in his brain,
Yeah, he's locked in
And
for to
so-
get high all the time,
forces his brother and
and his girlfriend
and
together
girlfriend
a lot.
together a lot. So they end up hooking up.
Yep.
And then he sees it.
And he's not super affected.
And
by
he's
it.
not affected. He's
very-
like-
it's not very sad about it.
That sucks. Let's go kill somebody. And
Yeah.
that's whenever they go to the club.
That's when they go to the club.
That's when he goes to the club. And so he's dancing, and then he finds himself as the little club
And they're
girl.
like, well, that was weird.
yeah.
Like he wasn't very upset by this. At
Yeah,
all.
well, I love it too because he sees them. I think that this is post coitus, and they were
Yeah, they're
sleeping.
laying in bed or whatever.
They're laying in bed asleep. Like I
Yeah.
would think at that point it's like we better get up so he doesn't catch us. But whatever, you know.
Because aren't they like on a pull-out couch or something like that?
Something
They're
like
they're
that.
in the open.
They're in the open, and then so he says, he's like, "What are you doing?" or something, and they were like, "It's not what it looks like," and I was like, "Girl,
It's
exactly what it looks like." So yeah, that's when he leaves to go to the club. So
We're just hanging out,
we're just hanging out.
naked
Yeah.
under this blanket.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then-
So I mean, she's trying to talk to him, and she's trying to like, all through the movie, she's trying to be like, Brian, what's wrong?
Brian, just talk to me.
Just talk to me. You can tell me anything.
Yeah.
Even if it's this giant Christmas poo is attached to the back of your neck. Or apparently hanging out in your pants.
Right. Just hanging out.
And so yeah, then like they're on the subway, right? When he kills the girlfriend.
Yeah, he tries to get away from her because he's like, I don't want to hurt you, or I don't want him to hurt you.
Yeah.
And she's like, what are you talking about?
What are you talking
And
about?
so she follows her on to the subway, and that's where we see Basket Case again.
Yeah,
and
Basket
then
Case
he
there, yeah.
kills her on the subway, and then just leaves her body there, and is like,
Yeah.
see ya. Somebody will find her.
Just and she's just
And
kind
they're-
of like, "Mer."
Yeah, and it looks like because Almer is like doing the whole mouth transfer again,
Mhm.
and it looks like they're making out, and
like they're
everybody's
making out,
real
but-
uncomfortable watching them. And then,
Yeah.
but
Just
really,
leaves her dead body there on the
just
train.
leaves her body right there on.
Which just proves you can pretty much do anything in the open in New York and no one's gonna say anything.
Nobody's gonna say
Everyone
it.
minds their business. It's not like here. They're like,
Yeah,
"She's
well,
getting murdered. I
you
don't
know,
know, so
again, this was pre-Giuliani, so
Oh. whatever. Guess you're getting killed over there. Not my problem.
So, yeah. So he gets squeezed with that extra.
Squeeze with the extra juice and it
Juice.
drives him crazy. And he ends up like shooting himself, right? Like
No, he gets so much juice in there
Oh,
because
his
remember
head explodes.
because the elect.
Yeah.
his head explodes.
he gets
Just
so,
like that?
and the brain damage head explodes.
They spoiled this movie for all of you guys.
Right here.
Right here.
In the poster.
In the poster right there.
But then the cops come and they're like, well, guess he completed suicide.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that would be the only...
The end.
The end. Yeah, that's where it just was
Like,
so abrupt.
Wouldn't you look
His
for,
head
like,
explodes and-
gunpowder residue on his hands, a gun of some kind? Like, guess he just got real upset and his head exploded.
I don't even think that we see that the cops investigated it all. They just walk in and his head...
They walk in
because there's light shooting out of his head.
Yep, and then they're like, meh,
"Meh,
the end.
The end.
Yeah, I remember it
It's
ended
the
and
weirdest ending. It's just like there is no ending to it.
it's like the guy was writing the movie and
just ran out of steam.
ran out. He was like, I want to be done.
And his head explode.
And head explode, credits.
The end.
The end. So that was, yeah. And finally, the chef's kiss piece de la resistance
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
Troll 2.
Troll 2.
This one is probably the most well-known.
This is the most well-known. They do like midnight showings of this at like local
It's
art houses and
well-known,
theaters.
you guys. For those of you who don't know, it's 1990 when
Uh-huh.
this movie came out. It's well-known for having absolutely nothing to do with Troll.
Troll. It's called Troll 2.
Because this movie was produced under the title Goblins.
Mhm.
Goblin. But American distributors, in its infinite wisdom, marketed it as a sequel to the 1986 horror film Troll, even though they have no connection and there are no trolls in the movie.
There are no trolls. They don't even refer to the creatures as trolls. They're goblins.
They're goblins. Yeah.
Yeah. It's one of my favorite. This movie is actually one of my most guilty pleasures. The one out of the three that we're talking about tonight is that I know the most about.
This one is just, because there's documentaries made about it.
Yeah.
There's... Okay.
The director was an Italian dude who didn't have a huge grasp on...
The crew was Italian and the cast was English, or American,
yeah.
so...
And even whenever they were writing and translating, because when they originally wrote it in Italian and then translated it over to English, there's like lines that are lost in the translation a little bit, or the sentence structure is a little.
They couldn't
off,
have gotten
so
anyone to translate anything. They couldn't have hired a translator to like help out with the process.
Man, in these low budget movies.
So the plot of this one, I'm just gonna do like a whole plot over.
Yeah.
And then we'll go through with bullet points. The plot is basically this family is pursued by vegetarian goblins who seek to transform them into plants so they can eat them.
Mm-hmm.
That about sums it up.
That's about it.
Probably the only horror movie about vegetarian goblins trying to
right.
Evil.
Here's one thing about it too, is that these particular goblins turn you into vegetables
so they can eat you.
So they can eat you because they're vegetarian. Right. So
wouldn't it just be easier?
Just eat vegetables.
Eat vegetables.
Like you can
maybe
grow
they
that.
want their vegetables to taste a little like human.
I don't get it.
It's like people who really want to be vegan, but also eat the burgers that are like Beyond Burgers.
They're
taste
vegan,
like meat.
but they still eat chicken sometimes.
Right. I'm basically a vegetarian, but I love to eat chicken.
But
then you're not a
medium rare steak is what I love. No, that's one thing I didn't get because they were like, okay, they don't eat meat, so they turn it, and I don't understand.
It's like vegans who go off the rails but eat a lot of cheese. We actually have a friend who's a vegan who does that sometimes.
Yeah.
Her name is Jessica. Hey, girl.
Hey, girl.
She doesn't go off the rails and eat meat, but she's like, had a lot of cheese today.
Yeah. It happens.
So this movie is for her. So family man Michael wants to go on vacation with his family to Nilbog, which I don't know if you know is goblin spelled backwards.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
and not Lilot, which is troll.
So yeah, Lilot. Lilart
would have made more sense because it's called Troll 2 and not Goblin.
Lort.
Lord. But then it's like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Anyways, so the night before they're gonna go out of town, I say the most annoying punchable child in the world named Joshua he's been contacted by the ghost of his grandpa Seth.
Mm-hmm. And he's the only one that can communicate with him.
He's the only one who can communicate with them. Basically Seth ruins the entire plot of the movie by saying like, hey, you're gonna go out of town, there's gonna be these goblins. They're gonna want you to eat stuff, don't eat it.
Yeah.
And Josh is like, hey, Dad, I've been contacted by a ghost.
Yeah. I'm talking to Grandpa.
I'm talking to Grandpa, and he has very specific instructions.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're always catching him like, who are you talking to? I'm talking to Grandpa Seth. Your imagination.
I would honestly
And
be
his
taking my
mom-
kid to a psychiatrist.
Right. His mom is kind of spacey anyway. Like,
Yeah.
I'm his daughter, and you know I miss him too.
And his dad's just all like, champ.
like,
Like, your kid is seeing ghosts.
yeah. Yeah.
Before Sixth Sense. Before
Yeah.
Bruce
Yeah.
Willis and
Yeah,
Joel Osment.
exactly.
Like, there's something going on here.
There's something going on.
No, anyway,
Yeah.
Shaw.
Yeah, now what I want to know is how did he get hooked up with this other house? Because they apparently are switching houses.
They're switching houses. They're like moving.
Yeah, like for a week they're gonna stay in this farmhouse, and
Why
then
would you want to go to Nilbog? I would want to go to a place called Nilbog. It
I
doesn't
don't
sound like
know.
a good town.
no? And what's there? I mean, what is there to do once you're there? Sit on the
TripAdvisor, I
porch?
want to know, like, what's there?
Yeah,
Do they have a Dairy Queen?
yeah.
No.
And so everybody welcomes them to town, even though they're like renting out this place like a B&B.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like an Airbnb, and they're like, "Oh, here, eat this food."
Meanwhile, Big Sister, I said homophobic Big Sister Holly is a huge waste of space doing aerobic workouts in her room, and her boyfriend Elliot crawls through the window and is like, "Hey, blah 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 blah," like, and she's like, "You never spend time with me," and because
Yeah.
he climbs through the window, and you think it's gonna be like this whole like, oh, he's climbing through the window, they're gonna like hook up or whatever, and then his friends are also in the window.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, his friends.
Why
go
would
with
you
him.
bring your friends to also like what watch you hook up with your girlfriend? I don't even know.
I don't know.
Like, why are y'all all on the same fucking ladder? Like, what
But
is this?
she's not putting out. She's not like that.
She's not like that.
Yeah,
She's very clearly exercising.
She
You're
was
ruining
exercising.
her Jane Fonda routine.
yeah.
But then she accuses him of being a homosexual because he wants to spend time with his friends. That dates the
You
movie a
know.
little bit.
Well,
This
yeah.
is definitely the 90s
Yeah.
because,
Yeah,
like, wow,
that's pretty insensitive. But go ahead.
insensitive, not cool. What if he is a little gay? Aren't we all? Rude.
I think we all are.
Okay. So yeah, and he says that he's gonna make it up to her because I'm gonna follow you guys. Where
Yeah.
you're going. I'm just gonna pack up my buddies. We're gonna come.
Well,
with.
she invites him
She invites him,
and then makes her family.
and my
walk around.
dad would not have had that at all.
No.
No, your shitty boyfriend and his loser friends are not coming with us
Yeah.
over my
Yeah.
dead body. Who's gonna feed them? Where are they gonna stay?
Yeah.
But yeah, so
So she ends up leaving mad,
she ends up leaving mad because
He never showed up.
He never shows up.
but then they follow in the RV.
They follow. They have an RV. So
Who
this
gives
kid-
like a 16-year-old kid an RV?
an RV and money? I'm assuming like
I guess.
costs money.
I guess.
Those things are gas guzzlers.
I know, right? How far is Nilbog?
I don't know. They never say. I said super lame. He doesn't show, proving once again you can't trust a man, and they leave without him.
Right.
No follow through on this kid.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, somewhere Holly and the boyfriend and the friends, they pull over in like the woods off the side of the road. Like, why would you not go to where the house is and stay
Yeah.
on the property?
Yeah.
Because at no point are they anywhere near.
Well, does it break down, or
It
do they
breaks
just
down, and
or
they
do
just like,
pull
well,
over?
I guess we're here.
Yeah. And then they pass him.
Yeah.
They pass them while they're there, and she's like flipping them off and everything.
And the friends get lost in the woods, and they meet the goblin princess or druidess or whatever.
Well, no, that's the flashback
That's-
at the very first of it when they meet the druid princess.
Okay.
And in this one, he makes it all the way into town. Remember, he's like, "We need some food here, so I'm gonna go
Yeah.
walk to town."
And
So
all
his-
the food suspiciously is bright green.
yeah,
It's like, here's this burger, and it's bright green.
yeah.
No,
And
I don't want that.
He's like talking to the shopkeep or whatever, and the shopkeep's all like, "What do you want?" He's like, "Do you have any eggs?" And he's like, "Eggs?
Eggs?
We don't have eggs." And then he's like, "How about some milk?" He's all, "Milk." Bleh.
Like, what?
or
Is there a Walmart I can walk to? Is there like a
no, he
Piggly
yeah,
Wiggly or
something like
something?
that. Yeah. Anyway, so they had jugs of milk there. Maybe that's not what he said, but he had jugs of milk. And
But
he's
it's all
like, "I'll
green.
take that."
Everything's green.
And he's drinking the milk on the way back, and they're like, "Yes, drink the milk." and then
Immediately I would be like,
is,
spit it back out.
is he the one that the cop picks up and gives him a green sandwich?
Yes, it's a green sandwich.
Yeah, he eats the green sandwich.
Eat this green sandwich, friend.
Yeah,
First of all, why do you have an extra sandwich? Why are you giving it to me? Why is it green? Nope.
yeah.
I wouldn't. 2 seconds in this town and I would be gone.
Out. Yeah.
Oh, why is everyone so friendly? Y'all are weird. No, thank you.
Yeah. And apparently the shopkeeper was like some homeless dude that they just picked up or something. I can't remember. There's a documentary called Best Worst Movie that just goes into like the
Which was
making of.
made by annoying child Joshua.
Yeah, is made by the kid in the movie, but now
God,
he's an
I could
adult.
not get over. You guys, every time I watch this movie, I just want to punch this child in the face.
I
And I know
know.
it's not right. You shouldn't punch a kid, but I hate
He's-
his acting.
he's-
I hate his stupid face. I hate his giant nostrils.
I hate his red hair now. I hate his freckles. And I
Talking
hate
like this the whole time.
yeah, the whole time.
Like, take a Xanax and relax, kid.
Ugh. One of the friends goes
To
to find to go get help or something,
because the girl, he's with the girl, and she gets like,
and yeah, they find the witch.
well, yeah,
like,
she's a druidess. She's like the queen of the goblins or something.
Yeah.
And because the girl gets like attacked by and he's like running to get help.
that's
and-
right. He goes to get help and he sees the girl running.
And makes him drink something or whatever, and he turns into a tree.
Yeah, she's like, drink this.
Drink
and then
this.
He starts turning into a tree.
Yeah.
She turns into his girlfriend. Now, this is where that famous scene comes from. Oh
Right.
my God.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she turns into the green cream corner or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh my God, they're eating her.
oh my god, I'm a tree.
Yeah.
They're eating her. And then they're going to eat me. Oh my God!
Yeah.
That's where
And then
those
he's a tree,
mime
and
classes came in handy.
Yeah.
He took mime classes for that. Maybe he did. But he turns into a tree, and you can like just see an eyeball. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that's the end of him, I guess.
That's the end of him.
You really don't see any of the friends' fate. At the end, they just turn into sludge.
And at some
and-
point, like they like the they have that like town meeting or whatever where like the kid sees like all these they're talking about like
Yeah. There's a town meeting, and like my brother and I, every time we watch this, we're
the
like,
leader guy, the dark haired dude with like the beard or whatever.
we call him Pro Wrestler Jesus.
He looks like he looks like a pro wrestler or like he was in like the country band Alabama or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Like he looks he's one of the Oak Ridge boys.
Yeah.
Like he looks real. He definitely looks of the time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Very
Like dark bowl cut, beard.
beard.
Looks very
But I guess he's the pastor,
he's the
of this-
reverend,
this
the
town?
goblin reverend or whatever.
and so
Yeah.
they're all getting excited because they're assuming that the family's back eating their green
But
food.
they're about to have these.
Now, don't forget how the kid stops them from eating the food. Remember,
He pees all over everything. Doesn't
pees
he?
all over
He just
everything.
pisses on everything.
And then there's a great scene where the dad picks him up and carries him upstairs and throws him in bed.
he's real mad.
And he's all, "What are you gonna do to me, Daddy?" Because it looks like he's about to take his belt off.
Yeah.
He's like, "I'm tightening my belt." Because to ward off the hunger pangs.
I'm
or
so
something.
mad. I gotta tighten my pants.
And he says, these people are hospitable,
Hospitable,
and you don't piss on
You
hospitality.
don't piss on hospitality. If there's one lesson you learn,
That's why they have to go to town, and that's why they
that's
see
why.
the
Yeah. See,
see
we're
the
getting it
town
all out of
folk.
order.
We're getting it all out of order.
Regardless, whatever.
Well,
And
it
then
doesn't make a lot of sense.
it doesn't really make a lot of sense.
And Grandpa's, they show up at the house, and they're like, "We're gonna eat you now." And Pro Wrestler Jesus shows back up, and
Hey, brother.
I'm gonna eat ya. So yeah, he shows up, but then that's the last time Grandpa Seth shows up. Remember?
Yeah.
Because Grandpa Seth is
Right.
like,
He comes back.
he
Can't
comes
keep him
back all of
down.
a sudden, and then strikes him with lightning.
Yep.
Because I guess he's Zeus now.
Yep.
Strikes him with lightning, and it catches
Take that.
Pro Wrestler Jesus on fire.
And at one point, Grandpa Seth is like giving advice on everything, and then like the priestess or whatever like sends him to hell and like banishes the
Banishes
ghost.
him.
Banishes the ghost. No more ghost for you.
No more ghosts. But then they're like, "We're a family, and we can bond together."
But before that, he's like giving him like the secret to like the goblins. Like, here's the secret weapon.
yeah,
Turns out
yeah,
the secret weapon, bologna sandwich.
that's right. Because they don't eat meat.
They don't eat meat. Which just doesn't make any sense because this is not the first time any of these people have eaten meat.
Well, no. And then they get zapped after they defeat Pro Wrestler Jesus. They get zapped to the witches, druids, whatever, her lair.
Yeah.
and then they're all like, "Here's bologna."
Never in my life have I seen anyone
And then they have to
win a
touch.
fight because of a bologna sandwich.
I don't know. I bet you there's been some prison fights on Bologna
Maybe.
Day that might have
Bologna
resulted.
Day.
But they all have to touch the rock, remember? And then they're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
and then we join together, and
We
then
joined together, us and the bologna.
us and the bologna
Against the
and
goblins.
Stonehenge here.
Never thought I'd say that sentence.
Yeah.
On Stonehenge.
On
Yeah, it's
Stonehenge.
not Stone. They call it something else. It's not Stonehenge,
But
it's
that's what it
something.
looks like, just a big rock.
It's just a big rock.
But yeah, and then they defeat
Defeat
every.
them,
They
yay!
defeat them, and my favorite one is when the goblins' eye explodes.
Yeah, it's
like,
like-
there's like just a black cat in its eyeball, and it's all snap.
Yep.
Yeah,
Just a little poof.
little poof, and he's
They
dead.
couldn't afford anything else. They're like, we spent all of our money
Yeah.
on all the orange or all the green sandwiches.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they just basically
They
defeat
spent
this whole
all
thing.
their money on green food coloring.
Yeah.
So they couldn't afford
the
anything
entire
else.
budget.
These goblins, though, I don't know. They look. We haven't gotten into what they look like.
Yeah, they are rubber puppets.
Rubber puppets.
Like Jim Henson didn't have his hand in this at all.
I don't know. They all have weird faces.
They all have weird faces, and then whenever
They're like cheap masks from the 80s.
Yeah.
Like you could buy it at like any Party City in the 80s.
Yeah.
Probably.
yeah,
And you think that's it,
mm-hmm,
but it's not.
mm-mm. No, they go
Fast
home.
forward to they go home.
Mm-hmm.
And
And knowing that they just traded with a family from this town,
Yeah.
they end up eating something out of their kitchen, or mom does.
mom does.
Mom goes and eats some food that they had left behind.
Out of
and
the fridge.
Guess what?
Yeah. Guess what?
She's turned into a plant goo.
She's plant goo.
And the little boy, what was his name?
Joshua.
He finds his mom's goo puddle,
Mm-hmm.
and there's still a boob floating in it,
Which is real inappropriate.
which is real inappropriate and probably traumatizing for this character.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got to live with that image the rest of his life.
The only thing he saw of his mother was her one boob.
That's the only thing you could identify her by.
That's her.
Her nipple.
Sucked on that when I was a baby.
I recognize
I
that.
recognize that anywhere.
And that's where it is.
like the coroner is like, we need you to identify the body. That's her officer.
Brings out like a jiggly boob.
That's her officer.
That's her.
One thing that made me bad too is that like the kid's name is Joshua. It very much reminded me of like those episodes of Friends where like Rachel is like hitting on her like whatever
Yeah.
dude Joshua, and then they're like, oh Josh, and she's like, no, it's Joshua.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, okay, Joshua,
Yeah.
you're Josh. If your name is Matthew or Joshua or anything like that, you know you're gonna be Matt.
Yeah.
You know you're gonna be Josh.
You're gonna be Josh. It's
Just
gonna be
name him
shortened.
Josh.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess that's where the movie ends. Is he
The
just finds her
end.
puddle. Now, if you ever see the documentary, I
Definitely
suggest,
watch the documentary, you
if
guys.
you haven't, if you watch Troll 2,
Yeah.
and then go watch, I think it's called Best Worst Movie.
Yeah.
And you learn a lot about
You
it.
learn
Like
a lot.
the actors aren't, they weren't never really classically trained. Obviously, like the
Wait.
dad.
What?
I know, right? You'd be surprised. The
I
dad's
wanna
like
say
a
I saw the
dentist.
I think I saw the dad in something else though. Did I not? Or was he?
I don't know if he's
Maybe
been in
not. I
anything
don't know.
else, but
Maybe
he
I'm
has like
fever dream.
he has a dental practice wherever he
Could you
lives,
imagine you get your cavity filled and you're like, I can tell
but
too.
he says it happens all the time.
That's
Yeah, this
hilarious.
this documentary is great, and he
I would have this poster in my office if I were him.
yeah, oh yeah. I wonder if he does. I don't remember him having it. In the
That would be
thing.
so rad.
But yeah, and they have a reunion in the documentary of all the actors that were in it, like 20 years later, 30 years later, or
Right.
whatever. And the one that played the mom is like, she's like a hermit now. She never leaves. She's got anxiety and doesn't leave her apartment. And you know,
yeah, the last time she was on screen, it was just her one boob.
right. Just her one boob floating in some green goo.
They have like green goo, I imagine, like on the table, and they're like, "What you you're just gonna like just flop the one titty
Just-
out
Flop it out.
through the table, just like the one boob."
Yeah.
I'm not really comfortable with nudity. And they're
Yeah.
like, we just need the one boob.
We just need the one. They won't even see your face.
Like, I was told there would be no nudity in this movie. My agent said.
Yeah, and then yeah, I think that they end up catching up with like a lot of the little bit characters and like the boyfriend and the friends
Oh
and
my god.
It's really interesting. I think that I enjoy the documentary just as much as I enjoy the bad movie, because seeing all these people
Right. It's like you watch
interact
the
and-
bad movie once, but you watch the documentary.
I can watch the documentary
20
several
times.
times, especially. But I've seen Troll 2 several times at this point. I actually did a podcast several years ago
The
on a friend's podcast about Troll 2, and
the first time I saw Troll 2, I remember I was at like a slumber party. I don't know how old I was, like 10, 12. And she and I were kind of like that, where we would rent like scary movies every time. I saw Dr. Giggles. I saw
Yeah.
like Warlock and like
Yeah.
stupid, And I remember watching this and being like, what is this?
uh-huh.
What am I watching? And I was 12 and I'm like, what is this stupid
Yeah.
movie?
Yeah.
Like, I wanted to be scared, and this is the no way.
This is not scary.
No way
it's
scary.
it's just like hollow rubber
And it was
puppets.
not supposed to be. It was supposed to be a comedy horror movie. I think they didn't want it to be.
I think that the director says stuff in the documentary, like he's all offended in the documentary because people laugh at this movie so much. He's always like, oh, they wouldn't know a good movie if they, if they saw it.
It's
and all this
Italian.
stuff.
You wouldn't understand.
Yeah, and he
How
was,
pretentious.
and he said, and I think he said something in the documentary too about like it was supposed to be like a family movie about family, and then it was the studio that kind of put it into the horror category. And
Is it though?
it's not bloody or anything. I mean, there's no blood. Everything is
No,
green.
it's not.
Even when they start bleeding, they bleed green.
Yeah.
So I highly recommend seeing the documentary as a
yeah.
companion piece to Troll 2, because
Definitely. There's a few of them.
and you
like
don't
that.
have to see Troll 1.
You really don't even need to see it.
You
just
don't have
walk
to see
into
it.
This.
It's a completely standalone movie.
I feel like
so-
I'm doing a lot of gesturing towards the poster because we have it.
yeah, because it's there. But
2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up.
Definitely.
Actually, as much as I have complained and harped on these movies, I loved all 3 of them.
I giggled through all of them.
I laughed so hard through all of them, and I watched Basket Case by myself, and I was like, nope, everybody's gonna watch
Yeah.
when I was refreshing myself on these movies the
Yeah.
other day.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we'll come back here with another few for everybody to listen to us.
Yeah, this
complain
is
about.
my pick, and then next time will be Courtney's pick.
Next time I'll have my 3 movies, and
But yeah,
there's some
that's-
good ones too. So stay tuned.
I'm excited.
Yeah,
I haven't even started on your list yet, so I'll have to watch them. I'm excited.
yeah,
next
I'm gonna
week.
have to refresh a little bit on them but yeah, they're pretty bad too. And I remember, like I said earlier, I remember all of these movies being at my mom and pa rental
Yeah,
place.
definitely.
So yeah, you could pick these up at
Back when you had to rent movies.
back
you
when
had
you
to
rent
go
movies.
walk
I used to
your
rent them
legs
with my
into the-
report card because I'd get my A's
Get
and then
free
you could get a
movie.
free movie. And
Mhm.
so yeah.
Yep.
So I would blow it on these stinkers.
Yep.
So
Yep.
So so everybody, thanks again for listening to us.
Yeah.
And watching us on
definitely
YouTube.
Tell your friends.
Tell your friends about us.
I was telling Courtney, like, one of our friends, shout out to Candy, because she messaged me letting me know that, like, she really liked our podcast.
Yeah, hey
That one-
Candy.
Hey Candy, hey girl.
Thanks.
Yeah, we'll shout you out. If you
Yeah, we'll
tell us
shout
that
you
you
out.
if you like us, you want us to give you a shout out, like, just let us know, because it means a lot. Like,
It means a lot that anybody's listening to us.
that
right
we're not
now.
just sitting in a room by ourselves talking
I know.
talking to a camera or a microphone.
into the mic. But
Um,
tell and as always, you can email us at b.list.forever with the number 4 at gmail.com.
Mhm.
You can give us any ideas of anything that you want.
Recommendations.
Yeah. Movies that you want us to watch that we may not have, because we love B movies, and it doesn't have to be horror.
No.
Because I'm totally into like B fantasy too. So
Be fantasy. And one time, remember that? What was it? It was a show. It was like Showgirls 2, or what was it? The
I think it was. We picked up Showgirls 2.
Like, yeah. So just
Any B movie,
any crappy B movie, we are down to watch it for you guys.
For that too. And of course, we love anything B list. So if you
Yes.
guys want us to cover any actors, musicians, just give us ideas. We'll
Anything.
take them.
Well, yeah.
So, also you can listen to us. Obviously, you can watch us on YouTube, or you can listen to us on Spotify and Google Podcasts. We're still working on that Apple.
Apple doesn't want us for some reason.
They still
Come on, Apple.
haven't verified us, so we're working on it, but
Mm-hmm.
we'll get there. And of course, if they do get us on there, and then you're listening to us talk about how we're not on there yet, disregard everything
We're
I
on
just
there,
said. We're on
yeah,
there now.
follow
Yay.
Moving on in the world.
So, all right, everybody.
Thanks, you guys. We'll talk
Thank
to you next
you.
time.
We'll
Bye.
see you next time. Stay safe.
Stay safe.
Let me call you sweetheart.